Floridians.
Yeah. So this old thing, death boy, just started kicking my ass. Really freaked me out, 'cause like I say, I never had it happen right at home. Off on the fringes, friends, rainbow sisters and brothers, but sisters and brothers are part of my flesh, my heart, my spirit. Never had that happen. It freaked the hell out of me. So I just that was the closest I guess I came to really cashing it in. Just, but I'm not weak. I thought about it and everything. I'm not one of these fools that's gonna try to eat a bullet or take diving lessons off the side. Do a swan dive off a 20-story building. That ain't gonna work. Just have to come back the next flight and do the shit all over. So I'm lazy. Don't want to do the next one again. Want to move up higher. Try staying in San Francisco after all this and everything, but boy, the shit done really changed. I mean, I don't know. It really changed in the inner cities and everything. A lot of straight white folks, they got all freaked out, fled out to suburbia, built their little concrete jungles in suburbia. They got out there and all the shit that they missed out in the city, they found out that they needed it, so they tried to pull it out to suburbia and everything. And back in the big inner cities, the meek, they crawling around and shit like the cockroaches, being straight up survivors. They surviving off the left all the shit and got burned up and messed over in the inner cities. And all them folks out there in suburbia, all of a sudden suburbia got their mind blown. All the rich white folks, they moved out there, and then all of a sudden they found out there's some black folks, some Mexicans, some of them Vietnamese brothers and sisters got just as much money as they do. And they want to be out there in suburbia. So the same shit they thought they was getting away from came and moved in right next door to them. Wasn't no more they maids and they butlers and chauffeurs and nannies and all that shit. Nobody. So then they got all burnt out in suburbia, and they found out that it was costing their ass more to live in suburbia than it was in the inner city, even though they brought their inner city shit with them. So after all the meek survived there, here come the rich folks want to take inner city back again, chasing all the poor folks out. Now when I was young, it was always homeless, but it was wanting to be homeless. All of a sudden, buddy, I come back here and it just totally blew my mind. Downtown San Francisco looking a lot of ways to me like the shit I done seen in Calcutta. Well, not personally, but like seen or heard, read about Calcutta, Bombay, and stuff like that. I mean, more people than you want to believe that I ever could would imagine. Forced to live on the street. Not just single folks, whole families. Single mamas, families, single daddies and everything. Wasn't cutting shit about the color guy. There wasn't nothing about the color. I was kicking everybody in the ass. And then damn government or whoever they call themselves, they trying to fool people talking about this color thing or who you sleep with and who you don't. That's all bullshit. What it really boils down to is what I see is the thing that's off balance. The half-knot is about a millimeter from the ground, and the rich folks building their tower with Babylon. But more and more people waking up seeing this bullshit. It ain't about the color, it ain't about the religion, who you sleeping with and all that, and it's scaring the hell out of them. And everything. I tried dealing with that, checking this out. Went back to Oregon, because this big city shit wasn't, I just felt like a stranger in a strange land, right where I was raised up, San Francisco Bay Area. So I went up to Oregon to hang out in the woods along the Oregon coast. Get my mind back together. My body started eating it. Look, Ma, no teeth. Couldn't afford to get no new ones. Medical bullshitted me around. So I'm happy. No teeth. Can eat pretty much everything I always eat. Hard nuts is pretty good. Give salad shell. Chew like an old folk. And then back gone. Chew the hell out of shit. Perfect good old piece of hard steak. Want the hell out of it. Yeah. Tried to get back to Mexico, back to Guatemala and everything. Haven't worked out yet. And I don't know, they talk about this age thing. Shit started rattling my mind with the death closing in and everything. So I went and talk to one of these supposed to be psychiatrists to help you get your shit together. And they start throwing this word at me, this so-called middle-age crisis stuff, whatever that's supposed to be, telling me, you know, that my body clock is slowing down, and things I used to be able to do in a hot minute.
Oops. Another take, Matt. Keep track of that one.
Chef is ready before.
Yep. We learn by doing. That's why you're here, Matt. Don't expect you to know it in advance.
I love the smell, man. Yeah.
Bring it here, I can open it. You just don't want to be doing that while a shot's going on too, because you'll hear that crinkling of that
Yeah, that's what I was
plastic.
thinking about.
So it's better to do it. It's better to stop than to try to keep up.
I'm still recording too.
Trying to get back. Wind up going to Colorado for the Rainbow Gather and everything. Stayed for the whole gather. My partner I went with, he met some people from here in Moab. He came over and stayed, didn't come back. So I came over here to check him out. Got a job. Tripped people out when I came here to Moab. Some of the local boys, they were taking bets on how long I'm going to be here. I found out who was supposed to be taking the bets and went to take a bet with them. First job I had, you know, I don't be trying to trip on color or nothing, but for a while it wasn't, they say, I don't know, they say I was only this thing they call black. I'm a rainbow myself. But, a new age mutt. They say I was the only one here. And the first job I got was running the watermelon stand. Yep, they always make these. I feel that it's changing. For years and years, it's been, for like Utah, this part of Utah, one of the last little oasis for counterculture people and stuff like that. Cheap to live. Now they want to seem like make a big tourist, mega tourist town like Telluride, Aspen, and everything. Ain't too much work here unless you got your own land, working your own business. It's kind of like hard to make it and everything. You can see it. They making a big push. I feel. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I hope I'm not. But I feel they trying to get rid of the poor people and the counterculture people here in a lot of ways. You can really feel it and everything. People been here for years and years. They telling them what they can do with their land. That little blast they had down there in Oklahoma City, a week or two ago, is waking people up. They talking about these militia people and everything. Now, I'm not advocating violence, or however they said and so, but a lot of what them people is saying is right. Because the government, I mean, they telling you you can own this land, but now they want to tell you what you can put on it, how you can shit on it, who you can have on it, what you can have on it. This is so-called freedom and everything. They marking the money so they can tell with their little secret James Bond spy shit how much money you got and everything. This so-called Constitution, it sounds good on paper, but the way they dickering with it, might as well use it for damn toilet paper. You just say, you have this right, but we can just fuck you out of it anytime we want. And you can see a lot of that happen here in Moab and everything. Because here in Moab, it's been like a lot of what they call the backbone of America, or they try to make these people believe that they're the backbone of America. A lot of lower middle class believe in the government, white people here. I'm not putting these people down. They had a right to believe that way. But government done bullshitted them and everything, and now these people waking up and seeing it and everything. And a lot of what these militia boys say, I can identify with what they're saying and what the government is doing. They tell you have the right to bear arms. That's in that Constitution, I think, someplace in there. And so, but now they want to take the guns away from you. And the reason why they want to take the guns away from you, because they done backed everybody, all the poor folks, the middle class. It damn near ain't no middle class in America no more, and everything. They done backed them up against the wall to the point where they're going to have to start using these guns just to survive. They don't want to, but nobody wants to roll over and die. I'm not saying go out there and blow up, shoot up people and stuff, but they damn sure make you want to think about it, the way things are happening these days. Money's really funny. For years and years, I was able to survive, do things, go places, without a lot of money. But nowadays, they're just forcing it more and more on you. They're forcing stuff. I don't mind accepting change. I just don't want it forced on me. And I don't think there's too many people out there like that and everything. They tell you can't, you got to have a damn credit card, whether you want it or not and everything. And they're just really pushing the people. And I always say, for years and years I've been saying this, if it's going to be a revolution here in the United States, it ain't going to be one. To white middle class America, got to get out there and start burning up, blowing up shit like they done in the barrios and the ghettos and everything. A few of them brothers went over there and helped them when they was doing that. A few of them Anglo brothers and sisters went over there, but they try to keep them out of the way. Don't want the public to see the Anglos are doing it. They want to say it's them and them doing it, and everything. But these people, today they got a force to get out there and like burn up and loot and get some recognition that way to show people that that they feel they're getting screwed and it's the only way they can get their point across. Then America's going to think about changing up. Because when that happens, the boy on the end of the gun going to be looking at his sister, his brother, his son, his daughter, maybe even his father or mother and everything. They ain't going to pop the cap, and mostly still today with this so-called integration and quota hiring, which is fuck, and everything, this quota hiring, just make a bunch of more weird shit, scramble people's minds and everything, but they can't keep doing that and everything. And these people are like losing their jobs. They've been promised these jobs all their life. They've been told, you're white, you're all right, you're male, you're white male, straight American, everything is yours. And now all of a sudden, they don't have it to give it to them no more. And these people are afraid because they've been the ones that's supporting the rich and supporting the poor and helping keeping the rich propped up. But boy, they're eating it really bad. White middle class America is really eating it, and they're tired, and I don't blame them. But they got to realize that it ain't the person of another. It ain't so much of this person of another color. It's the government bullshitting them, trying to keep this little wall up, keep people looking like this, all off balance instead of being straight up and seeing what's happening. And so, yeah. Me, myself, I'm trying to deal with it every way I can, keep a positive life. It's really getting hard out there. The homeless thing, man. Whew. And then you just see all these places, they're just like empty, places could be used. It's all kinds of these days, new age materials and alternative things that could be used to build better housing and better medicine and everything. But they just won't let these things do because they don't want to see people pull up. People pull up, they're going to lose their shit, they're afraid. But the people pull up, they ain't going to even lose their shit. These so-called people in charge today, they ain't going to lose their shit. The people who come up going to willing to share it, as long as there's balance and everything. It's totally off balance, I say again. The poor is way down there and the rich is way, way up there. And for every 1,000 poor, it's 600, 500 rich that's taking it off. And that's just totally off balance. I'm trying to deal with this shit. I'm 47, still trying to deal with it. I feel really good with myself. The little plan I made for if I make it to this age where I want to be, I'm pretty much there. I feel mentally
I mean, that's like turn the volume way down.
Uh-huh. You are what you do, and I think that'll take over for a while. Well, my name is Bego, which is a nickname I got in 18 years of river running. It came from the bottom of a bottle of whiskey on a sandy beach in the moonlight. Don't ask me how, but after the hangover wore off, there I was with a new name. And I moved to Moab in 1970 when I was fresh out of college on a whim. I hitchhiked down here just because I'd heard that some people come down here. My intention was to move back to some part of California. I came down here with a backpack and $40 and never left. And that's when Moab was a mining town, completely different than it is now. There are big ore trucks going through town all the time to the mill that's being torn down. And almost everybody back then worked in mining, which is probably a job I wouldn't take anymore as consciousness develops. Then I met the river industry, spent 18 years rowing boats in the Colorado River system, mainly the Grand Canyon. Retired from that, and I was looking for something to do when, boom, film. And a friend of mine who used to row boats had already gotten into film, and he basically got me my first couple jobs. And I went, okay, this looks good. It's outdoors, it's fun, and they give me some money for doing it. So for the last 7 years, I've been almost exclusively film, although I do other things, like ride bikes.
And what do you do for film?
I got into it in transportation because that's a pretty easy in sometimes, and then took up gripping pretty much right away. And since I've been climbing for 30 years, I started doing some rigging and some safety work, and that's expanded into probably 3/4 of what I do in film now involves risky stuff, rope, cable, making the camera move in these pretty awesome places. And location scout, I'm a field hand. I go outdoors and what do you need? I'll see if I can help.
So what are the productions you worked on?
Most of what comes by here is commercials rather than features. And most of the features are union shoots. And actually, I'm not all that interested in working 3 months on one thing. I'd rather work 30 things in that same period of time. More change. But nearly every commercial that's come to Moab, there's a core group of people in Moab that have gotten into film. Almost all of us came from the guiding business, so we know what it's like to be outdoors for long hours, not much sleep, hard work, taking care of people who come into this region and have the foggiest notion how to keep themselves healthy when it's 120 in the shade or minus 120 in the shade. Our little core group here is having a great time moving from what we were outdoors into filming outdoors. And we basically can provide you with nearly anything from first assistant directors on down to the sandbags.
I'll take a little break here and change my angle.
If you fall off, it's a major thing. And there's all kinds of little things that come by where you go, oops, glad that didn't happen. That's where I'm bad at storytelling.
Because you think of 10 stories at once.
Or none at all.
Or none at all.
Uh-huh. Let's see.
What's something that you did just recently?
Well, we just did a Pepsi commercial that involved building that giant rock and roll truss crane down on a cliff and putting the cameraman in a chair. You would enjoy that. That goes up and down the cliff at about 30 miles an hour or less, past a couple climbers in the middle of the wall, with a shot looking down and then looking up. vice versa. And getting all the people and places and things into position is fun, dangerous, and it's always interesting to watch the people who come from Hollywood and they look down the cliff and go, "You want me down there? Sure, put on this harness, it's cool. Well, now just put this harness on and do what we say and it'll be fine. Well, how do we, we'll take care of it. Just pay attention." It's pretty fun that way, watching people's eyes bug out. And then by the end of the shoot, they're going, "Boy, that was cool."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What, Carl Tangri, you were telling me stuff about Carl. I really like Carl. So if you could just fill in some gaps about Carl's past that maybe he would give to us, a little sort of an external look at Carl instead of the internal that I got this morning.
Well, Carl, let's see, Carl Tangri, what a case. He's in with a bunch of several generation local cowboys like Don Holyoke. There's some Taylors. There's a whole bunch of names in there whose ancestors have been cowing in this country for a long time. But he seems to be the most jovial, funny, able to laugh, helping out all the time. Not that the others aren't like that, but he's just more so. And no matter how bad things get, he's got a joke or something that'll just crack everybody up and loosen everything up. You know, he's one of the grazing permit holders out here, much to the environmentalists' disgust. But, oh well on that count. That's pretty much my total impression of Carl.
What about Betty?
Betty, you know, the Moab Film Commission has been around for a long time, gone through a lot of changes, and then along comes Betty Stanton, who decides she's going to make it her thing. So she pretty much just took over that region of affairs in Moab and has done a bang-up job keeping a lot of things together, getting out information. She's currently in the process of updating everything for computer stuff. And she works very hard for film.
Sure does. She's a damn good job. Blew my mind. I mean, she's been so much help to me. It's just ridiculous.
She's great help.
And to everybody, she's just help. She's just give you help. Need help? Help.
She's a little too quick to jump on environmentalists for various reasons, but that's an old school thing that us modern people are working through.
It's those Mormons. It's God gave it to us. We're supposed to do whatever we want to with it.
Well, even if it doesn't involve God, let's just use it instead of save it. And actually, the best thing that can happen on a production that happens around Moab is to have a bunch of locals work on it. Because production will go, "Hey, we want to saw down that tree, it's in our way," and we're out there going, "No, the tree was here first. Figure something else out." Or you can't just drive anywhere. You know, stay on the roads. Don't make a one-lane road, two-lane road. Stuff like that. And actually, in the large scheme of things, it's the features that do a little more harm than the commercials, because they're so much bigger and more ponderous and have so much more rolling stock. It's harder to keep them contained. The commercial thing, if there's 3 or 4 locals on, it's a pretty easy thing to keep contained. And yes, you can do that, and no, you can't. And it's a moral issue, not a legal issue. It's our desert. And if you trash it, then film stops. Because it's not a desert anymore, it's all trampled out. So behave. Here we go.
Have you had any conversations with Mystery at all? Have you spoken to Mystery?
No, actually, I don't know Mystery at all, except I see him almost daily, here and there. I know nothing about it.
Spent a lot of time in the mountains with Guatemalan guerrillas.
Really?
Yes. Has some interesting stories to tell about Guatemalan guerrillas and about how the Israelis are training the Guatemalan military now for the CIA, because we're not allowed to do it, so we just pay the Israelis, and they give them a lot of money to get it to sell to them. They sell it to them, they sell it to them, the middlemen. So he's
Which in another life, I wouldn't mind being a guerrilla. Not this life.
More about the environmental concerns. I think that's, you're the first person that I've interviewed that's even brought that up. So I think somebody at some point has to kind of stand that ground.
Yeah, since most of us did come from professional guiding elsewhere, which we more or less wrote the prevailing outdoor feeling into the rules of river running, mountain bike, commercial outdoor adventure travel. A lot of us got in on the beginning of it before there were any rules, and then because we were out there trashing our own place, we decided that maybe we ought not to trash our own place. So in the case of river running, you bring your own fuel instead of pick up driftwood, because all the driftwood was disappearing. Put fires in fire pits, take a portable toilet, basically take everything out that you bring in. So when film came along, we just had that ethic already. So we just tell the film companies how to do that, how to live outdoors without trashing the place out. And then you get people driving the vehicles who they don't see the difference between the road and the not road. So we tell them, well, there's a difference. This is a road and that's a piece of the desert. Can't drive on it. Shouldn't drive on it. So don't drive on it. Stop it. It's our place.
What about the mining?
The bottom fell out of the mining in the early 80s, and within a few years, mining was gone and Moab was a ghost town, which was an interesting 3 or 4 years before the mountain bike thing hit. Nothing happened here except a little bit of summer river running and jeeping in the spring and fall. I mean, there was some tourism then, but poof, no mining. And no offense to anybody, but I think that was good for the region. Extractive industries are pretty rough in some places. And film doesn't seem to be one of those, by and large. I think film's got a really good track record, environmental-wise. And the fact that, what's his name from the Eco Challenge, had a hard time with the powers that be, so now he's going to go tell all his film people not to film here. You should disconnect those two things. The Eco Challenge is not what film is. So Leo, what's his name? Burnett from the Eco Challenge, retract that statement. You had a hard time, but we don't. So
anything about uranium mining? I'm just specifically kind of going into the radioactivity that sits on the surface.
Okay, actually we have tailings ponds everywhere, more or less. There's the rock layers that the uranium came out of are everywhere. And there's one of them right there on the hillside that goes along town, the Chinle layer. There's background radiation all over this place from the 2 layers that contain uranium. There's a big controversy on whether to remove the tailings pond from the old Atlas mill, put it somewhere else, or cover it up for 10,000 years. I love it. Like we know what 10,000 years is. So if you just go out for a hike, most anywhere in Canyonlands, you're walking near some uranium deposits. So are we going to remove all of those to make it safe for the humans? So there's actually radiation a little bit here and there, everywhere. Depends on where you are. I've seen people pick up a nice yellow rock and go, wow, what's that? Well, it's a chunk of uranium ore. I'm gonna die. No, you're not. Or you're gonna die from something else, probably.
Yeah.
But the tailings pond's a huge issue right now. Everybody says it's leaking from the bottom into the water table at the river and sending untold thousands downstream to their certain deaths tomorrow. I don't think it's quite that bad. But there's uranium washing into the river every time it rains.
Wow. Yep. And you know, Boulder City and uranium tailings too.
Lots of things are.
Yeah.
Back when we so hated the Russians. And thought nuclear power plants were the thing to do.
Mountain biking.
Hey, mountain biking. You love them or you hate them in this town is about how it's working out. Most of the reason they hate them is they ride two abreast on two-lane roads and doesn't leave your car any room. If you would eliminate that and get everybody in a nice single file, a lot more people would like mountain bikes. That's a huge issue. It's whose road is it? It's a great outdoor recreation. I've been into mountain biking privately and commercially. I love mountain bike trips. The White Rim trip out here is a classic mountain bike adventure, let alone all the other things. And mountain biking also couldn't exist around here if it weren't for all the old mining roads put in the last 90 years. Because that's what everybody bikes on. We have almost no single track. So if mining had never occurred, mountain biking couldn't occur.